All right, we're back. Episode 3. We got in the house Josh Fields. If you are ready to get some rock and roll going on here, because I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting episode. Josh, by the way, before you get any kind of intro, anything can be said, anything can be talked about, anything goes.
Love it. Perfect.
Now, that being said, to keep your attention throughout this entire time, Josh Fields is an interesting character. He is allegedly, I have no proof yet, professional baseball player, law enforcement officer, marketer, professional, no, not professional, you call it world champion elk caller.
That's what they call it, as a professional elk caller, but I never received any compensation for any of it. I guess prizes. So, yeah. I guess if you get paid for it, you're a professional. Is that how that works?
I guess. You just got a couple cool cups and a certificate that said you're awesome.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, I'll hand it over to you. What I want to know is as exciting as possible, because there's nothing worse than just being boring.
Right, yeah.
Give me the rundown. What's this baseball thing? Is that how you started your career as Josh Fields?
Yeah. So, born and bred Montana native, right from here in the little Flathead Valley.
I can't say that.
That's okay. You're here now. And we welcome you with open arms. Had a little league to Babe Ruth to Legion career. Was lucky enough to go to Mesa Community College on a pitching scholarship. And then I was drafted by the White Sox, and that started my professional year in 2001, professional career. So
2001, the White Sox. That's
the Southsiders. Yeah.
So you pitched for the White Sox.
I pitched in the White Sox organization, yes. So all the way from low rookie to AAA, got into big league camp, went to Venezuela, which is winter ball. So my kind of joke is I did everything except make all the money.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you meet Corey through all that? Or
Daniels?
Yeah.
No, I met Corey Daniels through a trade show, and then obviously him being a Oregon State baseball guy. Baseball guys just, kind of hit it off, so that's how I know Corey.
I think he did something similar, I thought.
He played in college, I'm sure.
That's what it was.
I don't know if he played any pro ball or not, but
well, he sure talks about it a lot. So
Corey, love you.
Okay, so you didn't make much money in the.
Well, I was coming from here with no high school baseball or anything like that. It's absolutely a long road, right? I mean, you have the southern states. You got to Texas, Arizona. Go way over there to Florida, year-round baseball. I mean, they're putting out some players. And then let's not forget the other countries, Dominican, Venezuelans, China. So it's very, very competitive. So I just wanted the opportunity to, that was my dream as a little kid to play professional baseball and whatever it took. And I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to do it and did it for a long time. And it was a pretty great ride.
Yeah, cool. What kind of opportunities did that provide you?
Man, it opened the door for a lot as far as very well traveled, right? And you go to a lot of cool places. Yes, a lot of them are on a bus, except though when you do get to AAA, sometimes in AA, but AAA you get a fly, which was a plus. But you just meet a lot of great people throughout baseball, minor league, major league baseball, and a lot of high level people. So it just opens the door for those kind of connections of life after baseball. You stay with your friends because not everybody plays baseball forever or gets to the big leagues and makes a ton of money. I was actually just listening to a deal Bryce Harper was on. I thought it was really cool, him talking about if there's one thing he could do to change the game, he said he would want the guys that get drafted that go into the minor leagues to have to go to school and get an education for first couple of years, because what can happen, in my instance, I was a little bit older. I was 21 when I was drafted, so I had a 2-year college education. I got school paid for after that was part of my deal in signing. But a lot of guys, get into the minor leagues and they play for, if you're lucky, more than 3-4 years, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then after baseball, they're coming out at 28, 29 years old with no life experience except for playing baseball. No education, no wife, no girlfriends, no anything, kind of starting over. So I thought that was really cool that he said that. But
that's interesting because when you get these types of athletic careers, if you do make it in the big bucks, like you're starting as a late teenager, as a 20-year-old adult, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, that's not a bad point, because I could see that, because like they're just a kid and they go right into playing sports for the next decade, and then they're out. What's their experience other than throwing a ball, or
There you go. And you get drafted, so which is a great, awesome accomplishment, right? Very, very happy and proud of that. But I was a 23rd round pick, first half of the draft, 703rd overall. I didn't sign for $1 million. And then, if you know anything about how baseball works, it's not like football or basketball when you're drafted. Like you're like on that team, right? You're like there. Baseball, it's a little bit different now. There are some guys that spend just a minute in the minor leagues and they go straight to the big leagues. But in my era, 2001 to 2008, you're going to spend some time in the minor leagues.
Paying your dues.
So you pay your dues, and you're not making much money. But for me, it wasn't about the money. It was about, trying to get to the big leagues. I want to pitch in the big leagues and have an opportunity to play professionally, and I did. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Check that off the list.
Yeah.
Did you have the hair back then?
I did not. I wish I did, man, because I really wish I did. But I think, in the White Sox organization, we had to be pretty much clean shaven until you got to Double-A, and then you could have a little whatever you had there. So, but yeah, I played a long time in the minor leagues, and it was a very, numbers, you hang your hat on your numbers. I wasn't a guy that blew anybody away with 95. I had to pitch and learn how to pitch to contact, get hitters out, but had very good numbers, and you put those numbers in the big leagues, and me and you are probably hunting in Alaska, Yukon sheep or grizzly bear this September,
Yeah.
But it was a great ride, man. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Cool. Were you hunting during that time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. My very first, one of my dear friends, elk hunting partner, thinks that archery elk hunting ruined my baseball career, because I'd be on the road wherever it would be, summertime and playing baseball, and all I'd be calling him and all I'd be talking about is September archery elk hunting, right? And so how baseball works, even in the minor league level, you get in the playoffs, you get into September, well into September, which I did several times, and won a couple of championships. So you'd be missing some September archery elk hunting, which was my passion, what I lived for, and so, yeah, pretty.
So are you from the Flathead Valley?
I'm from like 7 miles right here. Yeah, Columbia Falls.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So I grew up, cut my teeth here.
And
Yep.
you've been hunting since when?
Since I was 12. That's your legal age in Montana. Now we have at 10, you have the youth apprentice program where you can hunt and shoot a deer at 10. But since 12 years old. But I really got into hardcore archery elk hunting when I was 25, 26. About almost the tail end of my professional baseball career.
I was going to ask about that. So you're primarily rifle style.
A rifle all the way up till, yeah.
Interesting. So baseball, check that off the list. What happened after that?
Well, after
Fell into
that,
a big pit, hit rock bottom.
Oh, that would have been so easy to do, right? That would have been so easy to do. No, I mean, it's definitely an adjustment. I was very fortunate enough to apply, and, I had money that was part of my contract with the White Sox that paid for schooling. So I went back to school, finished at the end of my career, and got a business degree. And then, I don't know, I always had a thing to be in law enforcement. My grandfather was the assistant chief of police in Anaconda for 20 years. So I think I needed a big-time break from baseball, and law enforcement was there. So I decided I want to be a police officer.
Tell me about that.
Well, back then, and it's still, I don't want no disrespect to our LEO. We love them. Thank God for our men and women that do it. But back then, it was really, really competitive to get a job, right? And the law enforcement liked education, military, and experience. Well, I had education, no experience, no military.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, what do I do? So I went to prison for a year to get post-certified there, CDODB, which is Correctional Officer Detention Basic. And so I went to prison. I went to work at Montana State Prison for a year and hunted elk like crazy in the meantime.
Where's Montana State Prison at anyway?
Deer Lodge, Montana.
It is in Deer Lodge
Yep.
still. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
So I was putting myself in a position to get, more appealing to get hired on patrol somewhere.
Right.
Yep.
Which you did.
I did.
And how'd that go?
Started in little Havre, Montana. You know where Havre's at?
No.
East.
You can see it in my face, couldn't you? I was going to
Great
ask.
place. Yeah. Great place. A lot of experience there. Only spent a short time, 6 months there. And the kind of the saying still is, if you want to get 10 years experience in one, go to Havre. There's a lot going on over there. Not necessarily all crime driven, but yeah, I spent a short time there, and then next to hometown Whitefish, a position opened up, and I was able to come back home. Get hired on there.
So you worked in Whitefish probably for what, like 7, 8 years then?
Nah, 9.
9.
9 years, yep, 9. Patrol for 5, then I went into special detail for another 3, and then I 4, and then I left to Whitefish and went to another state agency for another 3.
So special detail, what patrol specialty? What's that about?
Narcotics.
Narcotics. And that's when you grew the hair.
Yep. After having to shave and be clean shaven, and sometimes twice a day on patrol, it was just one of those things, kind of like, the cool narc agent thing. You grow your beard and you grow your hair out, and I did, and it has yet to leave me.
What kind of stuff do you do? Can you still talk about it?
Well, that's a very broad question. What do you mean?
What kind of what work does it entail? Like, what do you what's the job description? What do you do?
Really long nights, late weekends, holidays, everything all between. In which you are first line defense against illegal narcotics into the country, not just little Montana, but everywhere. So, a couple of details. I was at the state level, and you make cases against people that are trafficking illegal narcotics.
Copy. And you work with other like state and federal agencies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. Any and all of the above.
Copy. Probably a lot of border patrol stuff, I bet, too. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So you did that for 4 or 5 years?
I did that for them.
Or it's 3 years.
7 years, man.
Okay, so you did it
7 years, yeah. I was on the dark side for
Whitefish.
7 years. That's in law enforcement. You call narcotics world the dark side. So I was there for 7 years. Yep.
Interesting. Sounds like an interesting job. Did you have fun doing it?
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, you got pros and cons to everything, right? And so I've always been a type of person that's what you make of it. And I love the work. I loved a lot of the people I work with. And so I really enjoyed my time in law enforcement. Yep.
So, where does the elk-calling championship fall in line at? Because you're obviously hunting has been the deal since day one, and it's been in and out of baseball, law enforcement. Everyone's always talking about, Josh Fields, the world-class elk caller, right? big time elk caller. So where and when did you start doing the competitions?
Let's rephrase everyone of like 1 or 2 people that we mutually know between us, first of all. I've always been, I love the outdoors, right? To include hunting, but fishing, anything outdoors, right? That outdoor lifestyle. And so I've always been in the outdoor industry for roughly 20 years now, is promotional staff and that kind of stuff with several different companies, to include game call and accessory companies. So my foot was always in the door there. And I had archery elk hunting. If you ever get out there and you hear an elk bugle in the wild, to me, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, up here in Montana on the northwest part, it's tough. I mean, we got a lot of predators. We don't got we got a low bull to cow ratio and not a lot of elk. It's super, super tough. And I knew that the only way I was going to be successful as an archery hunter was to learn how to call. So I crossed paths with a guy by the name of Rocky Jacobson. So anybody that knows anything about Western elk calling, elk hunting, you would know the name Rocky Jacobson. He's one of the pioneers. And so we became friends, and for some reason he took a liking to me and started getting in the calling world and teaching me how to call and do all that stuff, and started becoming successful in the woods, which is the name of the game, right? But then I got thrown into the fire from Rocky on the World Elk Calling Championship stage. And so that's kind of how that all started.
He just threw you up there?
Yeah. He said, it was in Park City. I think it was 18, maybe 17, 18, somewhere in there. says, hey, you're going to come and help out at the booth at the World Elk-Calling Championships. Sweet. And by the way, you're calling. I'm like, okay.
Thanks, guy.
And I really had no knowledge or anything about it. I'd never watched anything on YouTube or sequences or any of that kind of stuff. My thing was always trying to sound like an elk, right? Like Rocky had taught me and mentored me. And so I was like, oh, okay. Well, what I didn't know was like when you go there and you represent a company, a game call company, you're thrown into the men's pro division. So you don't get to start in like the men's division, which men's has some very, very good callers as well, but you get thrown into the best of the best. And so, yeah, that was my first kind of trial by fire, and somehow I snuck through and took third. It's like, ooh, and then went back the following year and snuck in again and almost won the whole thing. Took second, which I wish I would have just won it then, and then I could have retired from it. And then I went back another year, and then I took fourth. So, yeah, I mean, and those guys that are up there that are winning it, I mean, unbelievable, right? So then you're kind of immersed into that elk calling world, right, as well. So,
well, I mean, a lot of people who hunt look up to those guys.
yeah.
Like, you and I have been at shows quite a bit. And, like, whoever it is, the everyday hunter who's going there as a consumer to these shows, they look up to all those guys, all the influencers and the things that they're able to accomplish, like being a world-class elk caller, like being up on the stage and calling, like that is huge to them. And it puts a little bit more weight on you, whether you know it or not, because they're like, everyone's like, not everyone, but the people who are calling elk, who are hunting elk, really look up to those people.
There's a lot of truth to that. And I always say, and I don't talk about the World Elk Calling Championships much, just because of, you don't have to be a world class elk caller to harvest elk every year. Some of the best elk hunters in this world, you will never hear about them. Just and a lot of them maybe can't even call, but they have their different tactics. That was just my way of being successful up in this kind of country and other places. I've been fortunate to hunt all over the West and the steep and deep timbered stuff. And elk are elk, and they're very vocal. And I knew that adding the calling aspect to my arsenal would give me a better chance for success.
Have you ever hunted Rosie's over on the PNW?
I have not yet, but your buddies over there in Oregon, I mean, that invite's open, and I will do that. I think in Montana, closer in our north country, we have some mingling of them Rosies. I mean, they're just giant bodies, right?
Yeah, huge.
And so,
because I'm from Port Angeles.
Yep.
Right. So that's where they're at. They're just huge bodies
in the jungle, in the rainforest,
in the freaking jungle.
Yeah. I want to, and I will, just not yet.
Okay.
Maybe we do that together.
Maybe we can. I know a few people. Hometown advantage. We're almost through with this whole who Josh thing, and then we can get to the bullshit session. But we went to baseball, hit the law enforcement, hit the elk calling / a little bit of marketing stuff. Let's talk more about like marketing, right? Or like business stuff. So like you have been in the hunting space dedicated, like the industry anyways, for what, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years?
Not even full time, just going on 4, really. But like I said, dabbled for a long time. So I was able to learn a lot and then, try and put several things together before I jumped full 2 feet without looking into the industry full time.
Yeah, because you've been working with companies mainly in the marketing space.
A lot of the marketing space, yeah. I have some sales experience as well. I've had the title of sales and marketing director before, which whoever decided to put marketing and sales together, I think we talked about this, they should be kicked real hard somewhere. I mean, yeah, they go hand in hand for sure, but 2 totally different departments and a lot of work putting those ones together.
It's a lot of work. It's like I technically do both, right?
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But like that's just part of being an entrepreneur.
But that's because you got C4, man. You can do it.
C4, caffeine, and beta-alanine. That's it. But yeah, they are pretty separate because like sales isn't necessarily marketing. Sales is more of a numbers game.
Yep.
Is splitting numbers. Where marketing is talking to the consumer.
Yep.
And totally 2 different things.
Engagement, right? All that good stuff. And so on the marketing side, one thing that I've learned and through my trials and tribulations is brand association, right? get with the right brands, such as yourself, that are good people, like-minded. They see the vision, and then you collaborate and join forces and go out and conquer.
Yeah. No,
I wish it were that easy.
that's what I was about to say. It's like, why is it so damn hard to find good partnerships why? What is it like? I mean, the hunting industry seems just the same as the farm industry because I'm both.
You're both.
I'm both, and man, dude, the farm industry is so cutthroat, and I've learned the same thing about the hunting industry. It's like it is so damn hard to find any kind of level-headed, person of integrity and a decent amount of honor in their system to work with.
Yeah.
And people who don't have egos or are super duper selfish and just have bad business practices. I've run into bad business practices and huge egos all day long, and it's like it's super frustrating when most people don't understand working together and collaborating is better for not only us as business owners and entrepreneurs, but that much better for the consumer. I just don't get why it's so damn hard, but
I couldn't agree with you more. There are a lot of great men and women in the outdoor space, in the outdoor industry, right? And that's the most fun of being in that industry is there's a lot of great people, and then there's a lot of people that selfish, like you talk, right? And so it's competitive, and I understand that as far as, they're trying to keep the lights on and got to eat. But I think if more of them would understand if we work together, even competitors, which there's two sides to that, come together and somehow work together, know that there's enough market space and share for all of us, it would just be a much better environment. Not that it's a great environment, but the one thing I always say about the outdoor and the hunting industry, and it's no shocker, the outdoor industry and the hunting industry is not... Hunting means something different to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Do you understand when I say so here in Montana, where I've been very blessed to grow up, it's a public land hunting. We go out there, you don't know what is out there from day to day. You're just going out, you're hunting. You don't know where you're going to end up. We have the public land space. We can do it, right? You don't know if you're going to run into a 370 bull, or you might not see nothing for a week. Mm-hmm. Whereas in different parts of the country, geographical, with white-tailed deer and private land stuff, they're seeing these animals all the time. They can name them. It's just different. It's a different type of hunting, right? So
stand where whitetail, you're sitting in a stand.
Yes,
you're up above, and or you're in a blind. You're hunting antelope. You're at a watering hole. You're in a blind. Mm-hmm. Lots of different. It means a lot. Yeah.
So there's a million different types of hunting in the hunting industry, and some say that it's not hunting, and then some say, those are the hardcore hunting, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's always that a little bit of the atypical stuff of who does what better, and then you can get into the public land versus private land debate, which is a big one, as always. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And for me personally, I'm as a conservationist, I just want it all to work out because, in the outdoor industry, we get attacked by the antis a lot. And it's dwindling slowly, but it is dwindling. So we got to stick together to keep public lands open, and even our outfitter friends on their private leases and all that. We want the tradition and legacy continue for our kids.
Yeah, it's the same thing for the firearm space. It's the firearm space is the most attacked space.
Yeah.
Everyone's, the government especially, even at least the government's somewhat conducive to the hunting space, right? But the firearm space is so heavily, restricted, and it's a huge industry. Huge. You've been a SHOT Show, right?
I've never been a SHOT Show. No, ATA in the archery side. So
we'll have to fix that.
Yeah, love to go.
I'd have gone this year, but
little accident.
I hooded my neck, but no, they're just you're working against so many things, and then as far as anti-gun, just anti-hunting, all these organizations, and then the government itself. Well, you got all that working against you, and then we can't even get along inside the organization.
True.
It's kind of ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And back to the point of working together, company-wise, people, companies, even just influence, if you want to even say that word, or just individuals in hunting or the firearm space, like I can understand not partnering with like my main competitor, right? I can see that.
Yeah.
We both make holsters in a slightly different way, and they're different
Yep.
To a degree, but like I can see that. But why can't we all be working together, at least in our industry, with avenues that are adjacent? Like, Company A makes backpacks, and Company B makes holsters and tactical gear, and other hunting accessories. Why can the two not pair together? And that does happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But not to keep beating on this horse, but like, why is it so damn hard to be like, well, we have a customer base and you have a customer base. We're trying to get, this is our goal with our customers, and this is what we provide to our customers, and this is our experience. B or A over here, this is their experience. Why can't we find a little connection there? But
Well, how long have you been?
We don't have the answer. But.
Well, I think what I would say to that is experience is gold. How long have you been in the firearms industry? Because you've been in a while.
Yeah, 2016.
Well, there you go, right there. It takes time and experience to be able to think outside the box like that. Not to say a lot of these companies haven't been around for a long, long time, but there is turnover, right? And so I think experience is gold, and that's kind of a testament to you of like a maturation of like, all right, because when I first got into the calling space, right, it's competitors, right? That calling company, this calling company, and nobody's friends, and nobody goes to dinner and all that. Well, I was fortunate enough when I came in, it was nice to be able to change that a bit, and the same guy that's on the booth over there blowing his elk call and coyote call and turkey call is, we're gonna go have a dinner and a beer later that night and chat about how business is and what they got going on and what we got going on and that kind of stuff. So I think it's just the environment, and you just got to weed through a lot of that to find those types of companies and people.
I think, you're right. Because like it does take time. Not to say that. That's a good point. And like when I was starting out, like the first 4-6 years, I'm reaching out. I'm the one doing all the reach out, like trying to partner with these companies that are bigger than I, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not getting the time of day usually, almost every single time. And if I do get the time of day, it just fizzles out, and they don't really give a shit because they don't think I have anything to offer, right? Because they're looking objectively, right? Well, now it's flipping towards like I'm big, getting bigger. Now I'm noticed, or the brand's noticed, and I'm getting text, calls, messages all the time now, and especially from people who objectively aren't as far along as I am at this point now. I've been doing it for a while now, right? And something I learned from one of my business mentors, he's on our first podcast, having that helping hand out regardless of where they're at in the journey, is looking at the person and who they are and their mentality is the key thing. So like I just got a call last night. I called the guy on my own time at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Called him. He had some marketing questions, right? Objectively, right? I could flip the script. Like it was flipped on me so many times where like I approached companies and like, I don't care, right? Guy needed some advice. Well, I called him. He gave me his number. So I called him real quick. It's like answered all of his questions, gave some tips, advice, all this, whatever, which I thought was cool. It's like, someone's asking me for advice, right? And then gave him some referrals, right? And like my, Clint Walker on our first episode, he's done the same for me. I've known him for 3-4 years before I moved over here. He's from here. And, he did the same for me, but as he didn't look at where I was at with the business yet. He looked at me, which meant a lot to me, or still does. And I think, it's just weeding through everything. I think that's, if you're a real one, I think that's just what you have to do. Yeah,
and that's with you, putting people in your organization that you believe in your circle, right? Your small, healthy circle. You invest in people, right? And that's kind of in the outdoor industry in a whole. I've always believed you invest in people, not necessarily the product, and it's going to, at the end of the day, it will work out. So coming from the law enforcement side and into the outdoor industry, I think I had a good outlook on having faith in people, right? In law enforcement, you see the worst 20% of people on their worst day all the time. And that was the thing. That was hard for me in law enforcement. even though I was able to overcome it, is you believe in people. It's like you said, he believed in you, not necessarily the product. You can't beat the man over the woman that never quits, right? And I'm sure he saw some of that in you. And look where we're at now.
Son of a gun, we got a podcast rolling.
We get podcasts with a sweet studio, and if your viewers could see what you have going on in here, man, it's truly impressive. I was fortunate enough to come the second time since you bailed on me because you had a little accident on the first time when I'm sending you the picture. Hey, buddy, I'm here. And then anyhow, yeah. So from where you've come, where we met several years ago, it's up in Portland. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, this whole operation is impressive. Your employees, I mean, it's truly top notch, and that's cool for somebody like me to come in and see, like, man, because you did it from the ground up, man.
Bootstrapped.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's been pretty. I think when we met, I think I was still in my little office trailer. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started in a little office trailer. It was like a 14x8 that my granddad built in like the 80s.
Yeah.
It was like a flat top thing, like took on water like a, like it was just an open sink, And I was in the P&W, which means it rains, every hour of every day. And I think I was still in that at that time. But a lot has progressed since then. Even now, this studio's getting moved in a week. We're moving to that new building across the way, which is slick.
That's exciting.
Like down here, where we got this badass crew, I'm going to do a quick shout out to these guys. I always brag on these guys. It's like my crew, my team is the best, hands down. What were you saying? Like, I can't. When they're investing in people, is what you're saying. I'm not doing it all perfect, but that's what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
And the benefit of that is when all my customers, or all the customers that come to Invader Concepts, they don't talk to me anymore. They talk to, my customer service team. And my customer service team, they talk as if it were me. And when they make holsters down here, they make holsters as if it was me. My return rate is stupid low. In other words, having the right environment, at least investing into the idea of the right environment, of a good environment, and investing into the people that's on your team seems to be a huge factor, because when because I go down sometimes and I check the products.
Sure.
I go down and check, see everything's up to snuff.
QC, man.
I look at shit and I'm like, son of a bitch, man. This stuff looks so good and so clean. All the edges are clean. The angles are right. Yep. And it's not a cookie cutter product. It's a custom made, drawn out by hand, drilled by hand, cut, buffed, assembled all by hand. And each one's different because we got thousands of options, right?
Yeah.
But I go down there, I'll pick randoms once a week or so. I'll go down there, I'll grab a bunch of boxes, I'll look at them all. I don't have to take anything and talk to anybody about anything other than good effing work, because it's just clean, right? And I think a lot that all goes back to investing into people.
Yep. And that, as well as anybody, that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you have blood, sweat, and tears, I'm sure, through this journey, and have got it. You don't ever want to say you got it all dialed in, but you got it somewhat dialed in.
I've got a few things dialed in.
Yep.
I would say I'll give myself a little pat on the back on that. Like, but it didn't happen overnight. Like,
I know.
I've made some serious mistakes when it comes to team members and building this whole thing.
Which you have to. A lot of the mindset and come across your feeds and social stuff, whether you're on a social or not, but it seems like some of the most successful high-level people, and I'm not talking about myself, I'm giving that more to you, but they've had to somewhat hit a rock bottom to get where they're at, and you would never know how to accomplish and get there without that failure, right? And so you see that a lot, and it is true. I mean, if you read into some of these stories, men and women, high-level people, of what they've had to go through at their lowest points in their life, holy smokes. So, yeah, it's neat, man.
That's the key to successful business, or as a successful entrepreneur, is quit your bitching, or don't bitch, just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
Because there's been 100 times where I should have just been like, I'm done with this. This is ridiculous. Like you gonna go bankrupt. You're broke every damn day. It seems like, right? You don't get paid. Like, I just recently started getting paid, and it's been what, 9 years. And it's like, I'm just now starting to get paid, an average wage. It's like, And there's some perks of
average wage up in this country. That's pretty good. You're doing good, my man. I mean,
$22 an hour. It used to be like $3 if you don't count overtime. But business is fun though. It's my passion, and I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, or always have been per se, but never took the leap till 2016. And I don't know. I love it. I can't imagine anything else, because I used to work for the man, right? And that's the other thing, like investing into people. Like when a lot of people go out and do their own business, right? They sheetrock or landscape, whatever else on their own. Usually they're just them. Maybe they have somebody else that works with them. That's most businesses, right? But when you have that drive and you want to go be an entrepreneur, and then you take and leave the norm and go and start something. Once you get to the point where you are hiring team members, which usually doesn't happen, but you need to facilitate the change that you left, which usually doesn't happen, right? Because if it did, then nobody would hate their jobs, right?
Would you back up when you talk about it? Once you leave that norm, scary AF, right? I mean, you're jumping into that world of something that is unknown, that you don't know, but risk versus reward, and you know what it can be on the other end. But just like you and I, we know the kind of hard work that it takes to get there. So I remember at that point when I decided to leave law enforcement and jump full-fledged into the outdoor industry, it's like, well, here we go. And I'm a guy that's, when you're in, you're all in. I'm riding for the brand. I'm going to do everything that I can, because I don't chase money. I chase success, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you view success as. And in the hunting world, I always say this too, is, a successful hunt to one is something different to somebody else. Whether you harvest a big bull, a little bull, or nothing at all, or a deer, or nothing at all. I mean, if you just had a quality time with friends, family, yourself, I mean, doesn't always have to end with the kill, right?
Yeah. So success looks a lot different to a lot of people. Like for me, like I got criticized recently for, being materialistic and like.
Really?
Yeah. And like wanting
that come out on your socials or something. Not supposed to read the comments, Tim.
Don't read the comments, but like I want a brand new, super clean, wrapped pickup truck, and then I want to get an airplane, right? That's a little bit farther down the road, but like I have never had a brand new pickup truck or a nice one. The nice thing I've ever had is that Ford Excursion I used to roll around in. Right, you got a new one now, but like that's a 25-year-old pickup truck. But like the difference is like, which I thought was hilarious that I was accused of those things, because like you haven't seen all the hard work that I've been through. Sure. And the waiting to get that new truck. Just because I talk about wanting to get a new truck or wanting to get that material thing, it's not my driving force in business. It's success, right? But like that's a reward that I want to have out of the success. And success is this thing not failing and the next one not failing.
There you go.
But
you have your pilot's license?
I got to get it.
Man, you're young. I didn't realize you were so young. That's awesome. I just said, you mentioned plane. Like, I like to ride in planes.
Yeah.
I got to fly one.
I want to fly one. It's a decent amount of time in little Cessnas and stuff like that.
Cool. Rat plane, Invader Concept rat plane.
Dude, of course. Everything black with gold lettering, baby.
Hey, branding. That's the other thing that, a wrap truck. I mean, it's, if you go back to marketing, maybe marketing 101, it's awareness, right?
Yeah.
Brand awareness.
Well,
I know when Tim is at a local establishment or something, I see that truck. Then I know you're there and I can come in and say hi. But just being around, I think that goes a long ways. But also with that that stuff's not free.
nope.
So
Nope.
you got to a place where you can do it, and by all means do it, and then let me borrow it every once in a while.
Yeah, no problem. Speaking of marketing, your latest adventure.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this stuff.
Outsider.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know? Outsider.
I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a veteran-owned outdoor lifestyle brand. So what that means is it encompasses everything outdoors, from hunting, fishing, hiking, rafting. Our mission here, or our slogan, be bold, live free. Let's get outside and enjoy the outdoors, get off the couch, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a veteran-owned guy named Sam Mackey, retired Navy SEAL, which you'll be chatting with him. You guys will hit it off like crazy. Tack guy, you know, he's one of those guys. You walk in the room and he's probably killed you 97 ways already, you know. But just an awesome guy, a family man, just solid gold. Very good friend of mine. And then Jay Cutler is part of Outsider, the ex-NFL star QB, Bears, Broncos, Dolphins. So they own it, and right now, you know, we have premium drinkware, branded apparel, backpack coolers, and that kind of stuff. And it's been a real fun adventure. There's a lot of things that come from Outsider, a lot of olive branches. I mean, big time potential. It's going like very well, and yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, I can't really talk about all the things that are in the works, but there's a lot in the works with Outsider, and it's pretty. It's neat stuff.
Well, I think it's pretty. I don't want to use the word slick, but that's the only thing that's in my head right now. So I think it's pretty slick that you know, like there's drinkware out there already.
Oh yeah,
right. But like, there's nothing that I know of, or very little of what's behind it, right? Mm-hmm. So you got these big, you know, drinkware brands, but like, no companies or brands in the space in our hunting and tactical space where that's who's behind it, and that's who it's for is for us. And, you know, all these other big brands are catering to us still because we're using their products, but like there's not much for us to get behind.
Right.
And that's where the difference of Outsider comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like-minded, same vision, with the consumer base. I don't know how to put it. You know, you think like, you know, some major competitors, but we're more like our blue collar consumer base. I just want to say like-minded. You know, I don't want to get into political stuff and all that kind of stuff, but you're right. The people that are behind it, just good, solid, moral, ethical people that embrace the outdoors, and that's what an Outsider like lifestyle. It's like a culture. It's more than a brand, right? It's like you live like an outsider, and plus too, it's like a cool kick-ass name, like Outsider.
Yeah,
right?
I can't. I
You
like
know?
it. It's like
I didn't realize I was an outsider my whole life until now. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fun stuff, and a lot to come. And how I came into contact with these guys was through an archery shoot several years ago, and then we hooked up and started talking. It was actually, to tell the whole story, since we have a minute, there was a fishing trip that was being bid on, and I look over and I see this guy standing there, and he's bidding on it, and it starts out at like whatever, $7,500, something like that. And I kind of look over, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Keeps going. I'm just, you know, when you see those people and you're like, I know that guy.
Somewhere, yeah.
God, I know him. And then he ends up getting the fishing trip, and he walks over, and I'm like, I just kind of Jay Cutler, you know, like not saying to Jay, but he heard it. And he's like, hey, and I was like, hey man, you know, and we started chatting it up and started talking hunting and the outdoor space. And next thing you know, he connected me with Sam Mackey. I remember how it was. Like, I give Jay a card, and he gives it to Sam, and apparently Sam was so call this guy, and Sam called me the next morning, and ever since then we've been working and hanging out and hunting and being outdoors. And
sounds like one of the real ones.
That's how it worked. Yeah, I mean, in that morning, because you see a lot of that in the outdoor space, and probably with any business, you know, hey, we're gonna go do this, or we should hang out, and we should do this or that, you know, and okay, but yeah, it was literally like the next morning I got a call from Sam, and Sam, salt the earth. I can't wait for you to meet him.
Yeah,
that's how we hit it off.
Yeah,
and
those are the kind of people you want to work with. Is like, because like, dude, how much do we? Oh yeah, I'll get that call tomorrow. I'll get that call next week.
Yeah,
yeah. Follow back up with me, and then it's like crickets, right? I think that's awesome. You know, call you.
But a lot of really, really good stuff on the horizon. Already doing some really good work, conservation work, and all that good stuff. Obviously being veteran owned, you know, Sam with a lot of that, but. Big stuff on the horizon. It's exciting. So
cool. I'm excited.
Happy to be part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we can work together.
Get you and Sam together. You gear nuts and all that. You guys will be tacked out like crazy.
Just a couple of nerds.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Although the holsters, we're gonna work on that because I live in grizzly country. But your belt, I haven't taken it off since I've been here, and that was a month and a half ago. And I'm not kidding. It is. I saw you had something on social today, and I was like, yeah, let's share that. That belt is second to none. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. We got a lot of stuff that's coming, which I can't talk about, same as you.
Yeah.
A lot of cool products that we're launching now here very shortly through second and third quarter. not holsters, not gun stuff, but really
Ooh.
cool stuff. But all American
Teaser.
made, all American made stuff for all your lifestyle brand stuff. So a lot of cool stuff. It'll be pretty slick. So, but we'll wrap this up. Where can we find you?
Outsider.com.
Outsider.com. Where's the Instagram social media plug?
So, yep, on Outsider IG, also on our Facebook platform, but Josh Fields 21 on Instagram. We got the Bearded Bugler on TikTok, which thank you, Riley. Love my Riley. Help on some stuff. And then Facebook, just Josh Fields. You know, I got my Josh Fields page, and then the outdoor page, which I just like to put cool, neat adventures out there, and you know, and hopefully to inspire people. I got a lot of stuff that's always been kept in the hopper because in my younger days, like, it's all about me. I want to do it. I want nobody to know my spots and secret spots and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's changed with maturation and aging of, like, you know what? I want other people to be able to experience just a quarter of what I've been able to experience so far, and there's still a lot more to come. So to inspire people, like, hey, man, you can do it too, or gal, you can do it too. If you want it, you figure it out, and that's what I love about on my social stuff and working with Outsider and just other great brands and companies like yourself. You're there to help, right? Questions. I mean, I know you get it as well. You get the DMs and you get the questions, and you know what? It makes you feel good to be able, somebody's asking you for something, and whether you're able to help them or not. And do I know everything? By no means, but I've been pretty fortunate to have the resources, whether it's archery, elk hunting, fishing, whatever it may be, holster stuff. I know a guy, you know, I mean, so it's cool to be out there and to be able to have the opportunity to help people.
I love it.
That's why we do it. Because you know the best way to become a millionaire in the outdoor industry.
Well, you gotta
start with 2.
Yeah. I love it. All right, we'll call that a wrap. Josh, glad you came on.
Hey.
This has been great.
I'm glad we could finally connect and get her done.
Yeah, no shit.
If you need some help with moving the studio, I know some friends. I'll give you their numbers.
Yeah.
We'll get her taken care of. Nope. So show season's over, buddy. I'm home. If you need some help, let me know.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll be needing some help. So you just shut yourself in the foot there because
I know.
I'm calling you.
All right. I'm here.
All right, good deal.